Welcome to the Nailed It Wall.
Ah! On this week's episode, we have two very special guests. Our first guest is Lorie Grabham from American Airlines.
And one of our very own Sierra Verde Vipers, her daughter, Sophie Grabham.
We're going to talk about all things equity in STEM, drones. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to episode 9 of the Nailed It Wall. I'm Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And I'm Mrs. Scofield.
And we have two very special guests today. I could not be more excited about these two guests. I had one of these students as a third grader my first year teaching at Sierra Verde. It's hard to believe she's an 8th grader today.
Crazy.
Sophie, introduce yourself.
Hi.
All right. It's an early Sunday morning. Sophie has made an appearance on the Nailed It Wall. Another special guest we have, amazing parent, STEM ambassador, role model, extraordinaire. I mean, you name it. Lorie, you do it. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Lorie Grabham, and obviously the mother to Sophia Grabham. And I work at American Airlines in technologies. I support all of our maintenance and engineering folks with data. You know, data drives a lot of things, and we, drive safety with data. And we utilize a lot of that to, really help with on-time performance at American and, just a lot of things that we do to help solve a lot of problems.
Just an overall rock star.
Exactly.
I don't know about that.
My mind's already blown. Well, I can't wait to get started because, this is just my favorite group of people right here in one room together again, recording episode 9 of the podcast. To start off, we always like to start off how we nailed it, failed it, to kick off our week in a good way or a bad way. The Nailed It Wall is hanging in Sophie's science classroom. Have you made the Nailed It Wall yet?
I have not.
You have not. All right. There's still time, Sophie. Sophie's still not on the Nailed It Wall. Now, what do you guys feel about ordering online in-store pickup?
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
I actually have not done that.
You have not done that.
I have not done that.
So our good friend, Mrs. Inglerth, she does ordering online in-store pickup at Fry's. I didn't even know you could do that.
She's a boss at it.
Oh, she is. I mean, she's like doing her grocery shopping in 2 seconds. She's getting all these things. Shout out to Mrs. Inglerth.
Go, girl.
Now, last 2 weeks I've gone to Home Depot. I was looking for this part for my hose. I got a leak in my hose. I need to find this part. I went the first week. I couldn't find it, and I love that now you can find the aisle exactly where things are, because I don't waste any time looking around finding these things. I know the aisle where it is.
And no offense, that could take you a long time.
Yes, exactly.
More than the average bear.
Directions are not my strong point. So I went in. I didn't get the first week. I still had the leak the next week, obviously, because I didn't fix the problem. So I went back. Same aisle. I asked 3 people. They couldn't find it. And I had other errands to run with my kids. We're outside in the garden department. It's 114 degrees.
Pretty hot.
I gave up. In that line, I was like, that's it. I'm ordering in-store pickup. I ordered it. I walked out of there. I ran my other errands. I got a text message. It told me they found the part. Whoever found the part. I walked in. I scanned the QR code. And then just this locker just magically pops open, paid for, grabbed my part, and I walked out in 2 seconds. And my mind is blown. I was like, this is the new way of computer science controlling our lives. And then it gets better. And then I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then the Arrowhead Apple Store. Have you been to the Arrowhead Apple Store?
In the mall.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's a mess. Just to get someone to talk to you there, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes.
No offense, I'm sure you're working hard, but there's some kinks.
Yes, I'm not. So finally we got Ryan his first iPad. I went to up by where Stan works, is at like the Scottsdale Quarter.
Yeah.
I just did online store pickup. I walked in, the person greeted me right there. I was like, I did an online pickup, in-store online pickup. Within 2 minutes, I had this iPad in my hand in service. It's just...
That's like a Christmas miracle.
It is.
It really is.
It really is.
It has changed my life.
Me too. And I probably shouldn't tell you this story because this is my
Perfect.
secret.
That's what the podcast is about.
It is my secret. Speaking of that, I probably shouldn't admit this, but Target. We go to Target and we're shopping for bathing suits. My girls try on bathing suits in the dressing room. And, they can be expensive. And so I just decided, this was my first time experiencing ordering online pickup in the store. I decided to scan the barcode of their bathing suits, and they were on sale online.
Wow.
So they were buy one, get one half off. So I scanned their bathing suits and I said, sorry, you're going to have to wait because we're going to order these online and get a discount. So we ordered them online. Literally, while we were shopping, my package was ready in the store.
Wow.
So it's a huge discount.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting.
I'm going to just scan everything in Target from now on.
I know.
I'm just
And then just
be
order
walking
it right
around.
there. Because sometimes they're online.
I'm never going to
Yeah.
be able to
Deals are
finish my
better.
shopping. I'm just going to spend so much
Yeah.
time.
I know. It's
Now,
great.
are you part of Target Circle? That's like their new thing where you
That's-
get more
yes.
bonuses. See?
Yes, I am.
I need to get on
I
that.
told Krista
Yeah,
you got to
it's
get
the
on
red
Target
card.
Circle.
Now
yeah.
it's
It's Target Circle.
Yep.
All right, now
We are taking sponsors, Target. if
Yes.
you want.
I love that you're
Does
so
it love Target?
I love you're so passionate about this.
Yes.
I mean, it's just changed my life. It literally has
too.
just changed my life, and I'm not even
love
afraid
it.
of it now. It's like
That's
anyone
a
I
big
talk to,
step.
I share the story. I'm like Apple Store, home. I'm like I couldn't find it, and I was like someone else is gonna find it, and I mean people in the store could not find this part, and it was driving me crazy.
That is awesome, though.
I
Toting
love
my
it.
2 little kids around, and then
You know what's going to happen? You're going to be driving home, and then a drone's going to come, and then they're going to catch you, and just like you're going to get it right
oh
then
my
and there
goodness! Before you even get home.
through the window. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, all right.
What could go wrong with this
Hold
plan?
that. Hold that thought
Drone
there.
delivery to the moving vehicle.
All right, Scofield, how have you nailed it this week?
Oh my gosh, I had such a week. Highs and lows. First of all, we had several highs this week. Very good, nailed it. So we have 2 student listeners that we found out this week that have been subscribing. So I want to give a shout out to Brian and to Braden and thank them for their support. And that meant so much to us because they just they took it upon themselves to look up the pod and they listened to it and they gave feedback, and that's what we would, we love to hear that. And then Brian, that was such a highlight of our morning because as he was telling us, and he was so excited, he flipped off his chair and landed on the ground, and so
He's okay. He's
He's
okay.
okay.
He's
He's okay.
okay.
But the class was like, take his picture and put that on the nailed it wall.
Well, first he said as he landed, he's like nailed it.
That's right.
And it was so awesome.
We did, because that's very much like become a culture of our school, and through what you teach in your class and what I teach in my class, it's just something that definitely the 8th grade students are super versed in about our thoughts on failed it and nailed it, and so it's a really cool highlight for us. And our podcast went all the way to Ireland this week, which was huge for us. So thank you.
I give credit Sam the bum.
Yeah.
I mean, all the listeners are loving Sam. He'll be back soon. I've gotten many tweet messages saying
awesome.
we need more Sam. I have a fever and the only cure is more Sam.
Yeah, I think that's paraphrasing, but yeah. So then the other thing was this week we have this student who actually was really instrumental in today's setup with having the 2 of you on. We have not done 4 mics, but he is apparently well versed in the world of podcasting and mics and all that.
Live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming. So big thank you to Brendan for that. And he kind of broke things down for us. And that was amazing. We learned so much. But then also he decided to take it upon himself to solve the cube this week. And he came in during RTI. I'm not his teacher for RTI, but he came in and within 15 minutes he solved it. And he was so proud. And he sent his mom the picture and he said she cried. And so we're very proud of him. And then we, of course, put it up on the Nailed It wall. As far as nailed it the other way, I'm going to kind of let Sophie talk about that because she can really attest to how bad I nailed it with a new purchase that we made. So do you want to take over?
So in science class, we were making a foldoscope, and it's basically the microscope that you make on yourself. They give you a little packet, and you have your own materials with it. And I did not do so well.
What's it made of?
It's paper.
Mm-hmm. So it's like an origami, right?
Yeah, it's like a huge origami like microscope. And I could not do it during the class time we did it. I didn't do so well.
No, fold scopes are an awesome thing. It's
really
like
are.
thank you to PTSO. Last year we were able to purchase 800 fold scopes, and basically it's a microscope in your pocket, for pennies on the dollar. Like it's insane, like what you can do with these things. You can do black lights with the iPhone, like put these things up on the wall, and it was like the ultimate. And then Reed came into my classroom. He's like, I need all the fold scopes. We're gonna fold. I'm like, you're gonna fold 800 of these fold scopes? And
We
thank
were
goodness,
a little too aggressive with that plan.
yeah. And thank goodness the 8th graders rolled this out. I was gonna try to do 4th and 5th graders, and I went in there, and the 8th graders were working so hard. It was like the ultimate IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
It really was. But the other thing is full discope. When I tweeted this out on Friday, they responded and sent a tutorial video that they recommend us using. So going forward with the ones we have not done, which is quite a lot, we're going to go that route. But was it appropriately challenging? Like, did you curl up into the fetal position, or did you make it through?
A middle of both.
I have to respect that answer.
But all the kids loved it, and when you said it, I was like, this is gonna be the ultimate challenge of perseverance. I'm like, you have to do this. It's gonna be so great. And the kids that did it, they were so excited. Like seeing Philip, trying to think of
Juliana. There were several. Bailey came in.
Kieran's sister, who's Kieran's sister, Wofford. She was so excited.
I don't know who that is, but
maybe I said the last.
I did give you full credit saying that you felt that they could do this, so they all knew that was. But it really was. I probably would have shied away. As a teacher, you kind of want to sometimes play it safe for things, so I was going to have them all made ahead of time. Clearly, that could not have been me, though, because that would not have been my strength. But yeah, so.
But the kids are so excited, and I'm glad you did it,
I
Sophie.
am too.
Great job on nailing it there. All right, Lorie, have you nailed it this week?
Sorta. I did a pitch this week at American Airlines, and I spent a lot of time on a PowerPoint presentation, and it was.
By the way, PowerPoint.
I know.
How are you not using Google Slides? I mean, seriously.
It was awful, right?
All right,
that
go
was
on.
my lesson.
Yeah.
It was a total fail. And I pitched it this week, and the gentleman, he's our emerging tech leader at American Airlines, and he looked at literally took my paper from me, looked at it, and said, "This is going to give me cataracts," and basically give him a seizure. And it was a total fail. But what came out of that was, my idea of what I was pitching, he loved, but he said, "Go wider. Don't just have a narrow focus, go wider." And so I came back out of it feeling good because I was on the right track, but yet it felt so good to know that I needed to think bigger.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
That's the whole point of failure, too. Is
Yeah.
like how you frame it and what you take away from it.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, why? Was there just so much information on it? Is that what was going to... Okay,
yes, way too much. And the way, it was everything that I was thinking was put on this paper, when really it should have been, just a very high level and then me talking through it. But yeah, that was
great advice.
Yeah.
I love where this pod is going. Before we move on, I just have to do another celebration. I mean, one of our big goals this year, me and you have talked about AR, VR in education. Me and you have talked about this a lot. You rolled out the merge cubes. Can you kind of touch on that? Because I think that was one of our big goals. Another shout out to PTSO.
Yeah,
they
huge.
purchased us, me and you, 30 merge cubes last year.
And just, as a quick thing about PTSO is, the things that we tend to ask for, they're not like your everyday things. And every single time we come to them with something that's kind of outside the box, they are so supportive, and they just, they back us and they get us these things, and they know that we'll actually do something with them. So we really do appreciate that kind of belief and support that we get from them. So we got these merge cubes, but we got them towards the end of the school year. So, and for me, like, we had seen something about cells, but I knew that wasn't going to be coming until this school year. So I had actually, to be honest, forgotten about that part, and I was going to do the cells thing. And you said, don't forget the merge cubes. Like, you had talked about doing this cell thing that we found. And so quickly I shifted things, and so we did that. And what do you think of it, Sophie? What do you think of the cells?
So it's a completely new topic for me. Like, we kind of touched on it in 6th grade, but it was a lot different, so I wasn't really used to how it worked and the breakdown of it. So it was challenging, but it was really fun to learn about.
Yeah.
What do you think about the merge cubes, though? Like, when you got to when you had that cell in your hand, what was that like? Did you make more connections? Like, was it kind of fun to kind of tap the animal and then see the animal cell?
So those were really cool. I liked how it was looked. It was just like really cool. Like this, like the study of it, like to click on an animal and then it tells you all about that specific part of a cell. That was really educational and fun at the same time. It made the whole learning cells process really fun.
I'm glad.
I really liked them.
I mean, it really was amazing. And honestly, the funny thing was, for your class. That's my advanced science class. And I just thought, are they going to like this? And like, there were people that were like gasping and they were so excited because I think it was something so different, but to see a cell and be able to manipulate it and take those parts out, and then you're just seeing what that responsibility, that organelle does. It was really a cool thing. And I was so glad that we ended up being able to do that.
Yeah, it was really
They
cool.
all liked how squishy they were. I got that all day. These are so squishy.
And then I love what Kyle said. He's like, how can I program these on my own and create my own, which I totally loved, and which I'm going to start doing the co-spaces with that group here, which got me excited that.
Well, and then that one kid, Sam, who not my Sam, but a different Sam, who's an awesome kid, he said, there's like 100 things possible or 1,000 things possible in this one cube. How is that possible that you can do all of these things, but it's just a cube? And that's the power of AR, is like there's so many apps, and there's so many apps created. There's so many apps that will be created by companies, but then the student potential for that and teacher potential is crazy through the roof.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm proud of you. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you
It
rolled
was
that
awesome.
out. And
Super fun.
And me and you always talk about going back and forth, and you're like, I'm here and introducing. I'm like, what? I'm like, you got to get the merge cubes, and like within 2
I can't believe I
seconds,
almost forgot
you
that.
got the app. It was $199 for the Cells app, or $299.
It was
I think
$2.99.
it was
Money
$2.99.
well spent.
Yeah.
Money well spent for sure.
Just like the pictures, like just check them out on Twitter. They were just so amazing. Merge Cube did they retweet you?
They did. It got a lot of love
wow.
this week.
Yeah.
Merge Cube, and then the app, which was that funny name for
Oh
the
yeah,
company.
like the follower, like
Double half
yeah.
Nelson or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't remember what it was. But, and kudos to them. I mean, we as teachers, you want to be able to do something that's, instead of just, okay, pull up this picture of the cell and it's very stagnant, that was super meaningful to them because they could kind of interact with it in a better way. So, and that was the whole thing with CenturyLink. With the grant that I got to get the iPads, was I wanted to be able to do more VR, AR things in the classroom to get 8th graders excited about science in a new way. So,
That's amazing.
yeah, that's amazing.
All right, amazing week. We always
Yeah.
say we want to make the weeks better and better. Again, I'm so proud of you, my friend Sophie. It's in her hands. She's holding a cell in her hand. It's so awesome. With that, we're gonna shift gears a little bit here. I love your story, Lorie. Do you want to kind of talk about your love of aviation, kind of like how you got into this whole field, and like where you kind of see yourself going?
Yeah, I actually was inspired really young. I was 6th grade, and my best friend invited me to an air show. Was born and raised in Daytona Beach, and I went to the air show, and it just blew me away. And I think the jets and what they could do, and just aviation in general. And it was at that moment truly that, that's where I wanted to be. That's what I was going to do. And so from 6th grade on, my whole future was looking at how I can get there, and what was I going to, do in school to help prepare me to be in aviation. And I had a lot of friends, took me flying, and it was
Those are some good friends.
Yes, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. They were airline pilots, or actually going through Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And
In Rhode Island, right?
No, this
No,
was this was in Daytona, and then I
Okay.
moved to Rhode Island in high school, and they would come up as, at this point they were commercial pilots, and so they would come up and visit, and I just always wanted to just soak that in with their career and what they were doing and where they were going. It was just fascinating to me. And, through high school, I wanted to go back and go to Embry-Riddle, and so I kind of pursued that, through school, and took a lot of my math classes, to where when I went into Embry-Riddle, I really kind of got right into aviation at the time. And so, so I did that, and then came out, worked for the government, and then got a job with America West, which is now American Airlines. So
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I remember in 3rd grade, we were going to the zoo, and we were driving by Luke Air Force Base, and you were chaperone, and you were naming like this plane. You were just like, your eyes were just like, just looking
it.
to the sky, and you were telling all the kids around you like, what this was, and I was just like so blown away that you knew like all these different fighter jets that were just like flying based off the sounds and the motors, and I was just like, whoa,
it does
like
not get
your
old.
stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Just yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Friday, I went to the airport and just recorded a 777, taking off. It was going to London, and I don't know, I just love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Now, where do you see your role in getting girls excited, your own daughters, like, all these things that you do, like, with AUVSI, to say that right?
Yes,
What does
yeah,
AUVSI stand for?
The Association for Unmanned Systems Vehicle International.
Okay,
So
wow.
it's
That's a mouthful.
basically a trade, the largest trade organization for unmanned systems. So it's not only air, it's ground and it's water, robots basically. And so I've been involved in that organization for the last several years, and it's really an advocacy, it's education around unmanned systems, which is really our future. So I have loved being involved with them, but even when I went through college, I was in classes with being the only female, and I was very introverted. I was very shy, and I felt like I didn't learn what I should have because I always wanted in the back of the room. I didn't want to be that standout, I look different person, and not that I probably was. Nobody cared. But I felt like I just stood out. And so I always sat in the back of the room. I was never the one that would, raise my hand and ask questions because I didn't want to, look like an idiot, I guess, or someone staring at me like, oh, she doesn't know. She's a girl. She shouldn't be here. And it isn't that I think that they probably thought that. It was my own confidence in that and believing in myself that I definitely was there for a reason. And so I think as I, went through college, and it was a wonderful experience, and then got into an aviation career. It was then that I realized, why was I like that, and how can I make sure that females that come up behind me have that confidence and know that they can do that, and just inspiring young females. And of course now it's different. I walk across our university today and there's so many females, and I love it. I love
huge.
It is. And even the ratios for engineers, pilots, astronauts, they're still really low, but they're coming up. I mean, it's amazing to watch. So I love inspiring them and just mentoring. That's what I think anybody needs, really, male or female, a mentor that can just guide them through, these things are possible, and that awareness of what's out there. So
Wow, your face. I mean, I wish, again, we could get to the video podcast, and because just your face and just as you share that story is just so powerful. Right. I got goosebumps as you kind of went through there, and I think that's so true. It's a big thing, like what Christy does with the Moxie Girls, about inspiring those with mentors. And the thing I love about you is how geeked up you get about technology. I remember in third grade, you'd always be sending me these things. I'm still waiting for that watch drone to come out for the people rock climbing. And cool. And one of my favorite mentors we had was, your sister. I wasn't there for that last year. Your sister was amazing last year, walking through New York City,
so cool.
and
She's
the
amazing.
girls were just so excited, just to see that part. But the pilot was your pilot's friend that came in. Gina
we
came
have
in,
to get her again.
and it was just so amazing
cool.
for those girls.
She's
As they were walking out, they're like, I don't know if I want to be a pilot now and do this and that,
or an engineer. Those are the two things that they were between. And she was incredible.
Oh, she is the coolest female, I tell you.
Yeah.
Just fun, and she loves her career and just all of the places that she's been, and being one of the youngest first kind of female captains for a 747. I mean, that's
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you're always doing these STEM things. You'll just be in your backyard. You're launching a rocket that lands on the roof. I love what you do for your kids in that sense. Now, what do you feel is the biggest challenge as a parent to get these kids excited about these kind of things and find their own way?
I think as a parent, I don't want to put the pressure on my girls, especially, to do what I did, or to give them pressure because they will feel like I have to do this because that's the only way my mom's going to be proud of me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that at all. I want them to find their own passion and try and figure out what they really love. And I think that's a challenge because I definitely want them to be successful no matter what they choose, and just not, I guess, making it where it's my passion. I want them to have their own. That's kind of challenging for me because I am so passionate about, aviation and aerospace, and I know Sophia is definitely loves that arena, and I think that's her own. But it's interesting with my oldest now, who kind of talks about, Mom, I think I kind of want to be a pilot, and like just. I love it. But I'm trying to be calm and not be so excited. So
Good for her. Well, what do you think though, Soph, like about, you see your mom, she does get really geeked up, right?
Yeah.
And she's been such a big supporter of so much of the Moxie Girl stuff, and then even with the International Drone Day and like all the behind the scenes. Like, do you feel like you have your own voice and your own path? Like, what are your thoughts on like how you fit into this picture?
Yeah, my mom really gives me options about how I want to go in life. She doesn't just continuously like pressure me into aviation. I kind of just started doing it by myself, watching my mom do it all the time, and I thought it was really fascinating watching how a little machine can go up in the air and do a bunch of cool tricks, and I kind of just wanted to learn that for myself.
And then, like, before you went into the, what is it? Is it called Hack Wars? Like the one that she did. What is that one called?
it was Girls for Tech.
Girls for Tech.
Yes.
But even that, because I saw you the day before you left, and you were super nervous.
Yes.
Super nervous. But even that, you know, she kind of just gave you the little nudge, right? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe sometimes in that, because how did, like, well, I don't want to
Well,
jump
talk about
ahead.
what it,
Yeah.
talk about. Well, first, let's touch on your experience. I think that was like 4 years ago when you went down, and then talk about the whole Hack Wars. Like, we were so excited.
Oh my
like,
gosh, so cool.
talk about that.
That was amazing. It was my first year, and I believe the third year that American Airlines kind of does this hackathon where they bring in all of their technology folks, and they create solutions to problems through technology. And they do that within a 24-hour period, and then they literally have 3 minutes to pitch that idea. And that was also the first year they had drones. DJI had sponsored and brought in some drones for that hackathon. And I knew going in that DJI was a part of the Hack Wars that year, and so I knew I wanted to be on that team. And so as we got there, I was a little bit late, but they were forming teams outside, and there wasn't really very many of us, and no one else had formed a drone team. And the leader said, "Hey, we need some teams. Pitch your ideas really quick." And I said, "Drones for aircraft maintenance inspections. You got it. Get your team together." And so we had 5 team members that we kind of all got together, went and sat down, and created. Looked at a lot of data to kind of see what would we do with using the drones for aircraft maintenance inspections. And so we took about 24 hours, developed something really small, and we pitched to our senior leaders. And it was like literally 3 minutes, and we kind of showed our app. And it wasn't that we didn't think we won, we just knew we were ahead of our time. Mm-hmm. And we went and sat down, and a little while later, all the teams had pitched, and they were announcing the winners. And we had used these goggles that were also a vendor there, where we tied in the drones with the goggles to where you can do a remote inspection. So the engineers maybe in Phoenix would be able to see where the drone and what the drone was doing if it were, say, in Paris, France. Wow. So they can kind of do that, virtual type of inspection. And that vendor came up and said that we had won for their vendor prize, which was super exciting for us. We were done. Like, we thought, okay, we got this, because we were kind of the underdogs, and we were literally packing up. They were announcing all the winners, and they came to the first place winner, and we were literally walking out the door, and they called our name.
Wow.
And we were called Return of the Drones. And we won that year for our application. And since then, just really taking that and doing a lot more with it. It was just so cool. It's really neat too that a company that you work for is really interested in your ideas. Mm-hmm. and where you go with that. So it was very, very neat.
And I think the coolest thing is, like, this is someone who, like, didn't want to, like, rock the boat, like, sat in the back of the class.
Yes.
And then now it's like, you're like, I'll get a team together, I'm leading this. And, kind of goes on there. And,
cool.
Like, it was so awesome, like, that you guys brought that home, and so awesome that American Airlines does that. And then I'll kind of talk about, like, what they started for the kids, for the kids of employees of American Airlines.
Yeah. So this past year was the first year that they brought in Girls for Tech. They weren't really sure how it was going to go. And it was kind of a hackathon, the same as the much larger hackathon today. I mean, I think we had 1,000 team members this past year in May. And so this Girls in Tech was 50 girls, and they brought them from the American Airlines employees, and they brought them in, and they hacked to humanitarian, I think was the kind of idea. And then they were free to kind of talk about, create anything that they wanted. And I will say, before probably Sophia talks about it, I still at work, people talk about, because the last the last 5 teams got up and pitched in front of the entire audience at the hackathon. And so there were probably, with our vendors too, so over 1,000 people that they pitched to, and everybody was so impressed. And what we learned from them, I think, was probably just a big pivotal moment for all of us. So yeah.
I feel like you should talk, so.
So for our idea, so I didn't.
Well, first tell us about like who was on your team, where were they from?
Okay, so we had 4 people on our team. That was me, someone who was originally from Dallas, so where it took place, and we had a couple other people, like one girl. Like they're all different age groups. So 2 of them were like 14, 15. I was 12, and this one other girl was like 10, 11. So we were all kind of like diverse in our age group, and we all had a bunch of different ideas. And unlike other groups on that, we had a completely different idea. Everyone was heading towards the direction of like emotional and finances, and we talked about the euthanization of pets in the U.S. because a lot of pets are euthanized in the U.S. every year. So we talked about how would we solve.
I just watched The Dog's Purpose last night, and I'm still a mess. I'm still a mess. All right, go on.
No thanks.
Yeah. So we created an app, and we presented it in front of everybody. Basically, the app was that it was like a huge filter to find the pet you wanted. It was like any animal you wanted, like scales, for everything like that. And they narrowed it down to 5 groups, and we presented, and we had like this one person speaking the entire time, and she did amazing. And yeah.
You used Google Slides, right? What
we
did you
not.
use for
We
your
used,
presentation?
Don't tell me PowerPoint.
We did not use
Okay.
that.
No.
It was I forgot what it was called.
Keynote on iPads or?
No, it was something
Code?
like it was like red. I don't remember what it was called, but it was some like these people came in, like there were these young like brilliant girls who came in and taught us all about it, and it was so cool. I don't know what it was called.
Because you
though.
made an app, right?
Yeah.
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 And she demoed that, and of course, can I say it was
Yeah.
the crowd went wild when they said it was Tinder for pets.
Oh.
And then they went wild again when they showed pictures, and it was like, oh, they got this.
That is.
They were very different from all the rest. It was cool.
Now, how confident were you? Like, I know your mom talked about how nervous you were, like right before you like went on stage. Like, were you guys feeling like after you present, like what was your feeling before you went on stage?
Before we went on stage, I was so nervous because me as a person, I hate going in front of people and presenting. That idea just scares me so much. So to be from like scared from being to 30 people to go to like over 1,000, that was really scary. But when we got
These are big wigs, right?
Yeah.
These are like all
These are our
like
leaders at American. Yes.
Yeah, but after
VPs.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
After we got on, it was, you're always like the most nervous before, and then when you get on, it's kind of a serene and calm. So we were all kind of calm about it, and then after we, like, the nerves kicked in, we all, like, got really nervous. It was really...
Now, after you got the laughs about the joke and you guys went off stage, like, did you feel like, we got this in the bag, or you kind of, like, didn't want to be too confident?
So we weren't too confident because we thought that maybe since our idea was so diverse that it would...
It was very different.
Yeah, since it was very different from the rest, that they would kind of exclude that from the rest and we'd get eliminated. But we also had, like, that small hope that maybe it was a good kind of diverse. So it was kind of, we didn't expect to win first place, but we didn't think we'd get the last place either.
And I think it goes back to like what your mom says, just like opening your horizons, and it kind of goes back and kind of builds on that. Now, what do you think was like the greatest thing you took away from that weekend experience?
So I think that from listening to everyone else, like all the girls that are so smart and being there, I just learned a lot about, like, before we presented our idea and before we even came up with it, I had no idea what euthanization meant, any of that. And I wasn't aware what was going on and with, like, the pets. So I kind of just learned a lot, and it wasn't even about, like, stuff that we learned in school. It was kind of just stuff that you learn on your own outside of school, and it was really cool.
That's awesome. We were so excited too that you went there, and your mom was like giving us like hourly text updates, kind of keeping us in the loop. And you are the definition of a STEM rock star in that sense. And
really
talking about the role model, and like, kudos to American Airlines for doing this. And I just feel like, this is what, the 5th year of Moxie Girls you've been running, or is it the 4th?
This is,
I think I don't know. But like, back then it's just like more and more of these organizations, companies are understanding this. And when we set out, we started Moxie Girls, we're like, this is a problem Silicon Valley can't solve. It's like, we have to start from the ground up, and that's what we wanted to tackle, and to understand that every student can do this and have these opportunities. And one of my favorite things was just like your infinite knowledge of drones and how you pass that along to my little kids and the Moxie Girls, and like something just comes out of you like as a presenter and like what you do, like the telos, like we're obsessed with the telos, and we're in the process of trying to get the telos EDUs and the things you can do with that. Talk to us about like your love of drones, and just the things you can do with them is just like crazy.
Well, like my mom, I really think that drones and aviation are our future. Like, we're getting more technology and we're advancing every year. And it's just really cool to watch how the human race is like making these like great things. Like when I started out with drones in like 4th, 5th grade, it was like these small drones, and now we have like these huge drones that are going into forests and saving people that get lost. And I think it's so cool to be able to control like this little thing in the air and use it for good purposes. I think that's really cool.
Now, what's your go-to drone?
I like the Spark because you can control it with your hand. Yeah. And I think that one's my favorite.
That's the one that you demoed in our meeting that one time? Okay.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
It's got a really good camera too, and she loves photography. So
yeah, well, that's so cool too. It's like bringing those two things together. Yeah, you're a great photographer.
Thank you.
I do love the is it the Maverick that takes those aerial photos that you had like in the drone club like last year.
Oh, the Mavic, the Mavic Air,
yes. The Mavic Air.
Yeah.
Like, those
still
pictures,
small and mighty.
Yeah,
yes.
And the pictures that they can do, like what are those called? Like, what's that filter that they come in? They kind of take those globe shots.
Oh, there's like orbit and rocket and different
things. Yeah, the rocket one's pretty cool.
That goes straight up and then does like the sphere. I forget what that one's called, but yeah.
That sphere one's cool. What I think is really interesting is, we've waited a super long time for, we had to wait for you to get into Moxie, right? So it was a waiting thing. But then like you sometimes, because you said you get a little nervous and you don't like to be in front of people. And so like there's this side of you that you're standing there, and until you're doing any of your stuff, you kind of are like in on yourself. And then you put something like a drone in your hand, and you're given this leadership position, and you like blossom. Like when you did our thing for the teachers, and you demonstrated drones and how they can be used. And then when you taught all the Moxie girls, I don't know if any of them had flown a drone, but if there was only like one or two. And you like broke it down for them, and you showed, and you taught Ryan. And so, you're so good at that. And then there's something that comes out of you that I just love to see, because it's like you find your voice and you just step into that, And I just think that you had a huge year last year though, because talk about being out of your comfort zone. You went out for cheer too. Yeah. So like it was a big year for you to start like finding the things that are your passion, and kind of being more confident in that. And I just have loved watching you.
Yeah.
Especially being Moxie Girls as well was awesome.
I think that has helped.
It's like so cool. Like her older sister Taylor is Moxie Girls as well, and just kind of cool how these things all kind of come together, and it's it's hard for me to like call you Sophie today because I always call you Sophia, like
Yeah.
and
And
you
I
always call her
can't ever
Sophie,
call her.
and,
Yeah.
and I'm like she'll always be Sophia to me, like that's what I called her in 3rd grade. And it's
Yeah.
like hard to think about like you as an 8th grader. Like one of my favorite memories, I actually came across the picture the other day. Do you remember your hair for Crazy Hair Day in 3rd grade?
That was the best.
It was like the absolute best. Like Sophie did like this like pencil in the hair, like
Her
it was
dad.
like the Who.
Yes.
Like it was
dad did that.
it was truly amazing. So it was like how fast these things come.
I need that for the
And
8th grade slideshow.
I'll do my best. And so, Sophie, I take bribes, so we can keep that under wraps. But it was just awesome, and like I just loved having you as a student. Like every time I see you, you're just always so respectful, and like you're just like, Lorie, you should be so proud of her.
you.
She's an amazing kid. Now, with that being said, I love your Twitter profile. I think your Twitter profile goes, "My life changed sitting next to someone on a plane," or something to that regards. Can you kind of talk about like your love of drones and how your life changed?
Yeah, I was on an aircraft. I don't remember where I was flying from, and there was a gentleman sitting next to me. We just got into a conversation, and he was in the military, I believe in the Army, and he was doing a lot around drones and the drone technology and the military. And I was so fascinated with him in that conversation that it always kind of stuck with me, because I knew eventually that I would want to go back for my master's, get a little bit more education under my belt. And it actually was probably 3 or 4 years later, and I decided to just go for it. The girls were in school at the time, so I knew I could probably handle a nighttime online class, and there was nothing out there that had unmanned systems or drones as a university. And then I found a gentleman who had started Unmanned Vehicle University, and I decided to go back, and I kind of talked to him through it. There wasn't a lot of students at the time, and I went with it, and because it was all online, it was stuff that I could do at night. And so I went through and worked through many programs that they had: autonomous vehicles, robotics, aerodynamics. I loved it. And if people tell you not to, go back for your master's later on in life, do it. It was an incredible experience. And through that, just kind of inspired that love of unmanned systems, not just from an air standpoint, but then through Hack Wars at American, and even this past year, we brought in the urban air taxis, which are the on-demand.
For Uber?
Yes, air taxis. And so we brought in Bell, which is Textron today, but the Nexus, the Bell Nexus, which is kind of one of those manufacturers, and the air taxi that Uber is looking at. There's a couple others. And so we had brought them in this year. And again, one of those things where you're kind of before your time, but it was it is such a neat industry, because right now, from an air perspective with aviation, we're changing aviation history right now, and how regulations move to kind of incorporate drones into the airspace, and how that looks with manned aviation and where we're headed. I mean, regulations are changing dramatically, and how they're going to fit well together and around airports. And a lot of safety around manned aviation is through data and through accidents and incidents that have happened. And so it's created a lot of regulations, and so we don't want to have an accident. And so how are we going to be proactive, and what are we going to do to make sure that these unmanned systems don't interfere with the manned systems and all of that? So it's been really interesting driving that at American and getting more involved from a policy and regulatory side. And it is our future, and I think I love it because I'm in it, and I'm able to help drive those changes, because obviously I wasn't here with Wilbur Wright, so
Yeah. Now,
1903 I was definitely not
I
there.
feel certain that you weren't.
now,
Yeah.
can you
No.
tell us the actual name of your master's? Like, what was the degree called?
It was Masters of Unmanned Systems Engineering.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
So
there.
it kind of had that broad of, and it's interesting because when I was going through my master's, we had just had the 19 hotshots that passed away in the fire up north in northern Arizona. And one of my projects through one of the classes was to try and figure out how can we solve that, maybe using technology. And it was using drones and having almost like a swarm system where there was kind of a master, and being able to really use those drones and look in with infrared and seeing where the fire's movement, where people are, and kind of directing the local fire departments on how this movement of fires were happening. And so that was my project. And now we are doing that. It's happening today in the public safety realm, and what they're doing with accident reconstruction, on highways, being able to open freeways much faster using that technology and drone technology.
Was that Mesa doing that, or I forget what police department was doing that? Or
So-
sorry, I know we had
Peoria.
Peoria came out. Peoria was at International Drone Day last year.
That's fascinating to hear what they're
Yeah.
doing with drones.
Yeah, searching, from searching for people to, the accident reconstruction to helping with firefighting, and, it's saving lives. It really is.
Like, what do you think, though, for us as educators? Like, what do you think would be the most beneficial thing that we could incorporate here on our campus, like, to really help prepare the kids for the drone industry? Like, what would you like to see education offer in that department, like partnered with drones?
I think from an education side, it's awareness. I think right now we're getting into the schools and teaching them like this is something that's happening today. It is really that awareness, I think, of this is
Exposure.
that exposure to different career fields, from, not just the drone itself and being a pilot, but the autonomy side of it, and using technology to make them fly by themselves. Mapping's huge. 3D models, being able to kind of show them that, in urban air mobility, the air taxis, they're going to be autonomous eventually, maybe not in my lifetime, but, that kind of technology and what drives that, the infrastructure that is built around that, smart cities, all of that technology. And I think it's just awareness of what's really coming and showing that future, even space. You look on Elon Musk, I mean, gosh, look what he's doing.
Yeah, he's not a slacker.
No, he is not a slacker at all.
Yeah, and I like how you keep kind of coming back to the data, probability, statistics,
yes.
and kind of like what an
Drives.
important role
Yep.
that kind of goes into your business, your profession, everything you do, and it's just going to start younger.
Yep.
And the thing I love about drones is you're just seeing them more and more in classrooms and all over the country, like the ability, better drones, cheaper drones.
Yes.
I mean, my son's in first grade, and he's probably got close to 50 flights on the telos of videos,
awesome.
cameras,
He's so good at it.
landing.
Thanks to
and-
Sophie's.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly.
It's just truly amazing what's happening in the drone industry.
Yeah.
And as we talk about mapping, kind of something exciting that we were doing. I use drones in my classroom. You're doing the Moxie Girls International Drone Day. And 2 of the last 3 years, the Moxie Girls have been the youngest group of people to host the International Drone Day, which is awesome.
So cool.
And then She Maps reached out to us and was like, I love what you're doing with drones, and we were excited, and we're like, this is what we do. And I do drone racing, coding, with drone blocks. I just love the telos, and you even talked about how Parrot's not even producing those anymore, but people are still buying the Parrot drones. But then you need that Tinker count to go with that. So I'm not a big fan of the Parrots. I just love the DJI.
They're great. Yeah,
They
they're
are.
very much
They're
into
truly
education.
amazing.
Yeah.
We're trying to get Tello EDUs, right?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can
what
swarm
they're-
them together.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
our
right.
next
those
step.
are. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do with those. But then, so She Maps is from Australia. You've been to Australia. Have you ever been to Australia?
No, I want to go. That's my next.
And
Yeah,
I
we need a
love.
sponsor.
Yeah. And so they reached out and they're like, I love what you're doing. I love what you and your partner, Mrs. Scofield, are doing with drones in the classroom and in your clubs and introducing these kids. And she's like, would you be willing to do this webinar? And I was like, yeah, we're all excited about this. And it's the world's first online drone conference coming up. And, we sent our pictures. We got our normal pictures. I got my crazy Twitter profile
It's so
picture.
cool.
You have your cassette picture.
It looks the best, by the way.
Yeah, and it's
I did see that, yeah.
it's merged together, and I was just and I'm looking at these all professors. I'm like, these people working for DJI. And I'm like, we do not belong here, and but it's
Oh,
just
yeah, you
so
do.
But
typical
then, yes,
us,
we do.
And,
Yes, you do.
And so the most exciting thing is I'm like, we gotta get Lorie. I'm like, she's someone that really needs to be talking about these things, and we were so excited to see you pop up on the
Yeah.
website there, and you're gonna be
Thanks
part
to
of
you
this.
guys.
That's a treat
Part of
for
this
everybody.
online conference there.
Yeah.
Now, where do you see what are the biggest obstacles, do you think, like in drones and, safety? Like, I mean, I feel like the government has really like relented in some of the regulations.
It's slow, right? And so, from a regulatory standpoint, that's really, I can't say that it's suffocating the innovation for the drone technology, but it's certainly been something that's a hurdle, for that industry. But it's moving. It is moving. And you see a lot of collaboration in the industry with drone manufacturers, with government, with a lot of the industry just really kind of coming together to create a solution. And there's 9 different test sites today that's exact. You see the big key name players in the drone industry, Skyhawk, Precision Hawk, a lot of these companies that are coming together with the manufacturers like DJI and companies and even FedEx, where they're really saying, okay, this is what we want to do. How can we make it work, and how can we do this safely and create some standards around, what it would be to do this. And so I think regulations probably is, but it's moving. It is moving, and the FAA is really on board. It's probably the first time now you can go. FAA now has podcasts and webinars, and they're getting out there on Instagram, and they're doing live. Hey, ask us a question, because I think a lot of recreational and hobby pilots who go out there who buy drones, they're not quite sure. Like, am I supposed to fly here? They don't know.
Yeah.
And so being able to kind of say, okay, let's register your drone and let's talk to the FAA. Let's talk to somebody. No question is stupid. And because that's what they want. They want to engage the public out there because they want to create a safe environment for everybody.
And that's the ultimate goal there. I mean, I love when John, like what he was talking about, like the security. I mean, he's done Super Bowls, Taylor Swift concerts, actually met Taylor Swift. Like he was just so amazing. And like when he was like talking about the security and kind of showing me like the thing, my mind was blown by what they can do.
What he's doing.
Now, did you ever get your drone pilot like that? Wasn't that there that big test that you can take?
Yeah, the Part 107. Yes, remote certificate. Yeah, I just actually went through my renewal, last year, September. So I got it right away when they first came out with it in 2016. And I went and did my test, and so then you have to renew every 2 years. And so I renewed last year, September.
That's a doozy of a test. I was looking at some of the practice questions. I was like, wow, you need to know.
The knowledge test,
You need to know your aviation stuff.
Yes, and you know what, now what they're realizing too is that hands-on experience too, and being able to kind of prove that, okay, I can do a knowledge test, but can I safely fly truly? And I think that's really why it's so fascinating to me that some of these schools are getting the drone technology in, because that's where I think companies will kind of eyeball these kids even through high school. When you look at State Farm, who really want to use the drones for accidents and things like that, or anything with flooding, or inspections of roofs and things like that.
Bridges,
they're going to pull in these kids from high school that get their Part 107. And that's a cool part-time job.
Yeah.
Or even your future if you wanted to, but as something that you can think about when you're going to college. But yeah, it's really fascinating that they're really kind of educating these kids and showing them what safe, how to be safe pilots out there and how to safely fly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm excited. My final thoughts are just I'm so excited that we had this time together to kind of pick your brains. I feel like there's so much more we could dive into, but we're nearing 60 minutes here, so I want to end it on this. I just want to thank you so much for coming on. This was such a good time, Sophie. It's just always a blast to get some time to hang out with you, pick your brain. Schofield, final thoughts?
I'm really excited to see the growth in you, Sophie, over the years, and just so proud of the kind of role model you are for the girls at our school. And I want you to take that and, shoulders back and really proud of all that you've accomplished, next year when you go to high school, and just keep being that person that stands out and really represents girls and what they're capable of. I'm super proud of you. And obviously we're always so thankful for everything that you've brought to our school and continue to push us and introduce us to. I mean, there's so many things that we did last year and the year before just because of things that you've exposed us to. And so it helps us be better and give more to our kids, which is awesome. And obviously, the girls are lucky to have you as a role model. I'm just saying. You're making everybody better. So
Thank you.
You guys are the ultimate STEAM, STEM, aviation dream team.
No
there.
pressure, but yeah.
Yes. Continue to do, and we always say, that's what Moxie Girls was founded on. The number one most important factor is seeing people in those roles and mentorship and what you do in that terms, within your own children and their friends and everyone in the industry is truly remarkable. And I still have remember the paper airplane that you guys got me in 3rd grade as a teacher appreciation gift.
Yeah.
I never successfully got to fly, but it's actually still sitting over there, right there. And it's
so cool.
Just your love of technology and what you do for the industry is truly remarkable.
Thank you very much. I think I've learned a lot from you guys, and I feel like, as much as you appreciate, industry coming in, I mean, for me, it's so incredible. I mean, I talk about you guys all the time in the school and what the school is doing, and I
keep
am
us
blown
relevant.
away.
Keep telling us what we can do
Yes.
because we
Crazy.
just want to make sure that these kids get everything that they can. So
Oh, lucky kids.
All right. We're going to there. Catch us next side, and we're out. If you're like us and you can't get enough of the Nailed It Wall, you can follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
and me at a positive proton.
And me at Drone This on Instagram or Lorie Grabham on LinkedIn.